It is Monday morning, and the state of the nation, we're in a situation of martial law light, basically, because of this virus outbreak. So, so the question now is whether our president should suspend the November elections for this year and continue on with enforcing the restrictions that are necessary to combat the virus. Now, on the spiritual plane, there's a question as to what may have caused this virus. You see, there are several theories, or some people would call them conspiracy theories, regarding the COVID as a bioweapon, and could have been processed, let's say, in Canada or on the East Coast of the United States or in China itself. But in any event, it somehow got out in Wuhan province of China. So, if this is in fact a bioweapon, okay, it doesn't necessarily imply that it was a humanly caused a pandemic, because it could have simply accidentally got out of confinement there in China. We know that that the pandemic did originate in China last year. So if it's not something that was caused as an act of warfare, either against China or against other nations, then we could look at it in terms spiritually, in terms of it being an act of God, which means that traditionally speaking, it could fall in line with the other situations where there were plagues, for instance, in Europe back in the Middle Ages, that wiped out, some say, as much as a third of the known population of the world at that time, which was confined to Europe, as far as from the Western perspective. So a third of the population would be quite a big number of deaths, let's say, even if we're looking at just the United States. So it would seem like, from that point of view, if this is some kind of a punishment or God's way of trying to inform us as to what needs to be done, and what we were doing wrong was very disturbing in terms of how it was affecting the environment. And so that is why God may have allowed this to close down the Catholic churches, or to suspend the Mass for a time. Not completely, but I'm only talking about the public celebration of the Mass. So that leaves us the question as to what is the best course to take at this point. Now, Trump so far has been doing an excellent job of containing this thing within certain limits by imposing the restrictions on social distancing, for instance, or the hygiene that's necessary, washing of the hands, things like that. Okay, that's all been effective to limit the spread of the virus. So what would be the advantage, let's say, of a martial law light being imposed throughout the rest of this year? And is it necessary to suspend the elections? Now, my own understanding is that Trump is in a situation of almost being able to guarantee a win in the election, and that might be the best course to take, because then he would have, in effect, the support of the American people let's say he gets a 50-state win or whatever, he would have the full support of the American people, and then he could impose a type of martial law, or extend martial law light, but only make it more explicit as to what is necessary. Now, from the spiritual point of view, we know that there were billions of human beings that were wiped out through abortion. So maybe the only way to combat this now is by looking toward the future to have a Catholic confessional state set up in the United States. So if in effect we go into a state of martial law, Trump could in effect dissolve Congress and simply rule from the White House. Now we know that his wife, Melania, is Catholic. She's from Slovenia in the Balkans there, and she is Catholic. So that could have a profound effect in implementing this new regime of a Catholic confessional state, where we could simply, by fiat or by decree, prohibit abortions, just simply close down the abortion facilities, cut off Planned Parenthood completely. And this will require a lot of tact to use, because there will be a lot of opposition. You see, right now, Biden is the pro-abortion candidate, and Trump, of course, is the pro-life candidate. So if Trump wins, that means that abortion has to go in order to end this particular outbreak of a pandemic in the world. So this is what we need to pray for. And an imposition of martial law, and then the new formation of a Catholic confessional state within the United States itself. And this will be our new form of government, and everything will then work out the way God plans it to. We know what the result's going to be, that Christ is, the social kingship of Christ will have to become the criteria for our future, and that means that there will be a triumph of Our Lady, as she said would happen at Fatima in the year 1917, and we can then just go from there. So again, I would ask everyone to pray, and I'm sure that we will see a much better world after this is all over with. Thank you.